Joeyd,
That guy,
Joeyd,
that guy,
Joeyd,
that guy.
Joey D.
What's up, YouTube? It's that guy, Joey D, and welcome to the place to be. So, in this episode of Being Black and Bipolar, I just want to talk with you about thoughts of depression. And if this is your first time tuning in, I just want to welcome you to the place to be. But of course, if you enjoyed this video by the time it gets to the end, do me a favor, like, comment, as well as subscribe to my channel. So let's just get straight to it. So I want to start off by talking about when I first started to experience depression in my life. And I would say this goes back between that transition from high school to college, between 2010 and 2012. During that time, I would say I was homesick, just in the beginning stages, of being in college at Howard University. That's what I correlated my depression to. Because in high school, I would say I was a student athlete. I played football, basketball, I ran track. I knew who I was in life. I knew where I was headed. I was so confident in myself. But when I went to college and I just focused on being a student, I had this big void in my life because I stopped playing sports. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't really know what my purpose was. And being constantly asked those questions like, what are you going to do with your major? You're studying sociology. What is the purpose of you, even choosing that? And I really never had the answers to those questions. So when I got alone, I would feel more depressed because I wanted those answers, but I couldn't ever come up with the answers. So that was some of the beginning stages of me feeling initially depressed, even though I didn't know that's what it was. It wasn't until 2012 when I actually was diagnosed with major depression, and they told me this, and this, and they said that you can only do this, and this. I felt way more depressed. I would sit in my room for days. I wouldn't even really be in the mood to talk to anyone. I just didn't know how to overcome those things. So the beginning stages of thoughts of depression, it was extremely tough because I'm an overthinker, and it was beating me down so much because I always question, who am I? What is my purpose? And even years later, I still never had the answers to those questions. So that's what I would say was when I first started to experience some thoughts of depression. Moving forward to my most recent experiences of dealing with thoughts of depression, I would say this really boils down to not feeling fully accomplished, even though I know that I've overcame a lot from 2012 to 2021. I just don't necessarily feel fully accomplished because I know that there's so much more that I can do and that there's so much more that I want to do. Being able to overcome my hospitalizations, as well as my anger and my frustration, but also wanting to give back and show that I have mental wellness. I still have thoughts of depression because I'm not perfect. I'm still a work in progress. And being black and bipolar is always going to be challenging, especially when I still have those thoughts of, who am I? What is my purpose? What am I gonna do in life? Those questions still pop up in my head from time to time, especially when I reminisce. And sometimes even when I sit down to make these videos for you guys, I have to question a lot of things, even though I necessarily don't need to. It's just a part of who I am. So now I'm gonna be moving on to how I've been dealing with my thoughts of depression. So moving on to how I deal with my thoughts of depression. In the beginning, I would say I used to just party and bullshit. Excuse my language, but I'm just saying that's how I really used to deal with, my thoughts of depression. I never wanted to just sit in the house for too long. I never wanted to be the Debbie Downer of the group and allow what I was going through to affect the people around me so much to where they didn't even want to be around me, even if that was the result in some situations. But moving on to how I deal with my thoughts of depression now, you can already guess it. I talk with my support system. Having people in your corner, such as a therapist, close friends, and family members, that is always something I would suggest for anyone who may be dealing with any thoughts of depression. I suggest that you get a strong group of people that are always going to be in your corner. Because for me, I'll say that's allowed me to answer some of those questions that I've had, such as who am I and what is my purpose? And for me, I had to remember what my purpose was, even though I've always known it. I just never was confident enough to say what it was until I made this YouTube channel. And I'm going to end off by saying it. And that is to inspire, entertain, and make a change in someone's life if I can. So there you have it. That's what I have for you guys today on this episode of Being Black and Bipolar, Thoughts of Depression. And if you've enjoyed this video, do me a favor. Like, leave a comment. If you have any more feedback and you don't want to necessarily put it in the comment section, you can follow me over on my Instagram, slide in my DMs, and we can continue the conversation there. But most importantly, subscribe to my channel. But other than that, we're just going to keep this thing going and rolling. One day at a time until the end of time. Peace be the journey.
Joey D.
That guy.
Joey D.
That guy.
Joey D.
That guy.
Joey D.